Albert Einstein once said, I came to America because of the great freedom which I heard existed in this country. I made a mistake in selecting America as the land of freedom, a mistake I cannot repair in the balance of life. It is not a secret that racism still exists today. In fact, it is deeply embedded in the history of this country, more so built upon it. The power of the police, granted by the Supreme Courts, and the war on drugs created a disparity in the prison systems. Today, I will explain how the war on drugs and the police force work together to create a disparity in the prison systems. So, first, the war on drugs. The war on drugs in the U.S. was the first domino in the collective effort into bringing this new age racial caste system. Michelle Alexander coined the term racial caste system, a system that creates a new class of itself that depend on the racism and discrimination of the prison systems. According to the Drug Policy Facts, in June 1971, President Nixon declared a war on drugs. He dramatically increased the size and presence of federal agencies and pushed through measures such as mandatory sentences and no-knock warrants. However, the war on drugs did not stop with Nixon, but continued on with Reagan. The Drug Facts also states that the presidency of Ronald Reagan marked the start of a long period of skyrocketing rates of incarceration. Largely thanks to his unprecedented expansion of the drug war, the number of people behind bars for nonviolent drug law offenses increased from 50,000 to over 400,000. It's evident how the war on drugs has pervasively affected the number of people incarcerated. According to the NAACP Criminal Justice Fact Sheet, African Americans now constitute nearly 1 million of the 2.3 million incarcerated population. However, 14 million whites and 2.6 African Americans report using illicit drugs. 5 times as many whites use drugs as African Americans, yet African Americans serve virtually as much time in prison for drug offenses, which is about 58.7 months, as white do for violent offenses. There is definitely an inequality to that. So, now that we talked about the drug war, and we talked, let's talk about the solution. What can we do to solve the problem? Now, this is only one way that might improve the problem. But first, let's focus on the police force, since they are the foot soldiers of this battle. The police force should have a mandated course on urban lifestyle or different ethnicities, or some kind of contact or face-to-face education with the people that they're going to serve and protect. For example, in Fremont, they have a monthly get-together of the community and the police force so that they can get to know one another and have a better idea of who they are serving. Education trumps ignorance, and contact with the unknown unveils the truth. There will be no blindfold of racism. True, this will not erase many histories of hate, but it is a start. So in conclusion, today I talked about how the criminal justice system creates disparities and what can be done in order to improve that. The power of the police granted by the Supreme Courts and the war on drugs have collectively worked together to create disparities in the prison systems. The police are using the law, a power above all citizens, and to oppress people of color. After prison, one is labeled a felon. After that comes many consequences, such as discrimination in police, in public housing, employment, voting, and education. So now I leave you with a quote by Michelle Alexander. 7 million people currently under control of the correctional control, only 1.6 are in prison. This caste system extends far beyond the prison walls and governs millions of people who are on probation and parole, primarily for non-violent offenses. They have been swept into the system, branded criminals or felons, and ushered into a permanent second-class status, acquiring records that will follow them for life.